Signor Ministro, grazie della ospitalità e della possibilità che ci dà di questa intervista. La prima domanda che vorrei farle è: il piano infrastrutturale dei trasporti che avete varato ieri nel nuovo piano quinquennale mette in moto una serie di opportunità. Certamente significano trasporti, significano logistica, significa una novità, una modernizzazione del territorio siriano, però significano anche mettere in moto delle relazioni, mettere in moto partecipazione. Quali sono quegli aspetti culturali di un nuovo piano di infrastrutture quale quello che avete varato?
Well, okay. Well, of course, transportation infrastructure are essential for any economy, for the added value and for the trade. But you are right, especially transportation are much more needed for the exchange of people. Transportation facilities in Syria are necessary to make better change between Syria and the surrounding countries, to give the opportunity to people coming from other countries to come to Syria easily by many means of transportation, air transportation and especially maritime transportation. And inside Syria, the infrastructure, the network of transportation is very important in order to be able to visit the variety of Syria, from the coast to the desert, from the mountain to the river.
Un piano di trasporti viene pensato e realizzato anche grazie al contributo delle comunità locali. In che modo voi avete realizzato questo rapporto tra il piano complessivo e le comunità locali?
Well, of course, also transportation facilities are important in order to make a better exchange of goods between the regions of Syria. And here, especially roads are of major importance. And we all know that whenever you have a road, you have the creation of a development of urban and activities along this road. So in Syria, the major roads are connecting the major center of urbanization in Syria, and with this connection there is the possibility to create many activities, to transport the vegetation, to transport the produced things, and also to make it possible for people to transport from one place to another. And of course, people working on these activities are making money from this activity. We don't forget that nevertheless, the major infrastructure of transportation in Syria are owned by the government, and they are operated by the government, like the railways, like the roads, like the ports, like the aircrafts. Indeed, the employment in this field is much more attached to the private activities related to the transportation sector. The public sector is only employing 40,000 people in Syria in the field of transportation. But if we count all the activities related to transportation in Syria, there is about 500,000 people working directly or indirectly in activities related to transportation. So transportation is very important to activate employment and to activate activities which make people live.
La ferrovia è un mezzo di trasporto preferenziale per le lunghe distanze. Volevo sapere in Siria qual è l'incidenza del trasporto ferroviario, come viene visto nella prospettiva, e se ci può anche parlare del rapporto, della relazione, partnership su questo terreno tra Italia e Siria. Qual è la novità che ci può dire oggi?
Well, we are living in a world enabling a multimodal transportation system. We all know that for distances less than 150 kilometers, trucks are very much competitive. But when we would like to transport goods and peoples for distances between 500 kilometers and 1,000 kilometers, railways are very important. And I can assure you that at the level of the region around Syria, the Middle East region, railways has a good future. All the Ministries of Transportation in Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and even Saudi Arabia and the Gulf countries, we are working together now to develop a railway network in order to be able to carry this kind of transportation, interregional transportation. We all know, and it's obvious for us, that Italian railways are very competent and they have a good experience. This is why with Mr. Moretti, the chairman of Italian Railways, we created a partnership in Syria in order to study together the possibility to submit a joint venture in order to enter to the world of railway infrastructure in the region. And I think that with the good experience of Italian Railway and with the proximity of the Syrian railways, this partnership will have a good fruit in the very near future.
Signor Ministro, c'è una novità, una linea marittima da poco costituita che mette in comunicazione la Siria e il porto di Tartus con Venezia passando per Alessandria. Da dove nasce questa idea e dove porta?
The Wismar line was brave enough to initiate this line between Venetia and Tartus, and this line is very important. It is a very concrete application of one of the basic concepts of the Union for the Mediterranean, which is the motorways of the sea. And in the same time, it's also an application for another concept which is now widespread in the Mediterranean area, which is the Green Line corridor. So this is why we are supporting this line, which was created between Tartus and Venetia, and we hope that there will be other lines linking all the Mediterranean cities to each other. And indeed, the maritime transportation in the Mediterranean is very, very old in the past. Already in 1632, Galileo Galilei wrote his famous book about the dialogos between the two systems of the world. Dialogos Systemati Mondi, and excuse me for my pronunciation in Latin. In his book, which established the basic of the modern physics, and when he wants to talk about the relativity of the movement, Galileo Galilei mentioned exactly, let's imagine a vessel carrying goods from Venetia to Aleppo in Syria. Can you imagine how important was this maritime line of trade, so that a smart man like Galileo Galilei mentioned it in a book which is dedicated not to the commerce but to the physics? I believe that Galileo was a smart man, and I hope that Galileo will be happy now to see that his example is followed out in the future, and we are working to create more lines between Syria and Italy.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Yes,
welcome in Syria. Thank you. Thank you.